Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 253. And this morning, I was in a rush to get out of the house because I wanted to make it to my first casino and at least take a lap of the slot machines before my first meeting. Well, as I was getting ready to leave home, I got some bad news. One of my kids missed the bus. So I had to take them to school, and now I'm going to get to my first casino 1 minute before my meeting starts. So the chance of me making money in a first lap are gone. So once I get there, I will immediately start my meeting, and then I'll have a half-hour meeting followed by a half-hour break. During the half-hour break, I'll be able to go in and take a lap, and then I'll have another 1 hour meeting where I'm stuck there, and then I'll be able to continue on to the next casino. This is greatly going to limit the number of casinos that I can go to today. I may only end up with 3 casinos today because of it, and we're looking at 7.5 hours of driving and probably less than 2.5 hours of play. So very unfortunate for me, but what am I going to do? That's life. So yesterday, decent day. Can't complain about it. You're always wishing that things were a little bit better, that you had more opportunity, especially being like me and having to go so far away. Is really exhausting sometimes to go that far and to not be able to play, or to get a limited amount of time to play. So, all right. So let me see here. Let me talk a little bit about my year, my Wrapped for Spotify. I'm going to talk about some things here that I don't know if these are correct or not, but because some of these numbers don't make a lot of sense. It says followers increased by 128%, streams increased by 50%, but then it has a thing that says that my listeners, 88% of my listeners found me this year, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but that seems a little bit high to me. It talks about my most popular episode, which is Season 2, Episode 3, which by far is the most popular episode. Season 2, Episode 3 is the Beginner's Guide to Card Counting, how to beat casinos, how to play blackjack, and advantage play. And that was actually viewed 760% more than the average episode. That is a huge number. And then as far as, we've talked about this before, the breakdown of listeners by age, I talked about it's pretty steady between the age of like 25 and 65. It's pretty steady. It's pretty equal, the number of people. It's about 20% for each of the age groups in there. And then the listener group that grew the most was age 45 to age 54, and it was close, so I don't know if it really matters. On average, we're being streamed in 37 countries. We've been streamed in over 100 countries already, and of course the United States was my top country. As far as the people who listen to my show, the top show that they listen to, which is no surprise, other than my show, is Joe Rogan, and the second highest is Blackjack Apprenticeship. So not a lot of surprises there. Let me see. There is a section here I'm looking for. All right, so I'm a top 10 on like over 90% of my listeners. I'm a top 5 podcast on about 70% of my listeners, and I'm the number 1 show on about 50%. Looks like 40-something% of my listeners. So I appreciate that. I would assume Joe Rogan would be number one on all those, if I'm not the one. So number one is probably Joe Rogan, and then I'm in the top 5 on the rest of them. So very thankful for that. Of course, I don't charge you anything for this. I don't make any money off this. It actually costs me money, if anything, to run the podcast. But I appreciate you guys giving your feedback, and I appreciate your questions. And my biggest goal is to kind of document what I do. Originally, it was to just keep track of stuff for myself. I think you've heard this before. I used to speak into my phone and record on a notepad what I did for the day, and then I would go home and copy and paste that into a Word document. And for about a year, I had a journal in a Word document, which who knows, maybe one day I'll release that, but I had a journal where I kept track of everything I did, and I thought, I'm already speaking it into my phone, why not just record it and keep it as a recording, and I could get transcripts later, which you can easily do on the podcast, get transcripts and be able to read it as well. So that's it. So right now it's 18 degrees outside. We're heading out, and we should be at our first casino, like I said, about a minute, still about a minute before our first meeting. So I'll be back to update you soon. A few hours later. All right, guys, I am pulling off on the exit to this casino, and my 15-minute warning to the meeting starting just went off. So I've got 15 minutes to get to this casino, and if I want to take a quick lap, I can. Probably not going to be able to get anything done, but as I'm stopped here at the light, I'm going to try to at least look at the front half of this casino, make 1 or 2 plays potentially, hopefully make some money, go back to the car, and then do a half-hour meeting, run back in for another half hour, and then back to the car for a 1-hour meeting. So here we go. I'm going to have about 10 or 9 minutes once I get in there. Hopefully I can find something, make some kind of money, because if I don't during that half hour, someone else will. So that's where we are right now, and I'll be back and let you know how things go. All right, guys, as I am leaving this first casino, let me explain, change of plans. I was able to get to the casino about 10 minutes before my meeting started. Went in, looked around, and there was absolutely nothing going on in there. Everything had been cleaned out, no possibility of anything coming up because there were no cars in the parking lot. So it didn't make sense for me to go back in after the meeting. My meeting was supposed to be, it was scheduled for 30 minutes, and it only lasted about 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this 40 minutes between now and my next meeting to drive and get a little bit closer to my next destination. Definitely can't get there that fast, but at least I can get part of the way there. I was unable to find any plays in there at all, 0. So I didn't even put any money in any machines. I didn't play anything. So, there's just no possibility of making money when I was in there. So, and now I've got the sun in my eyes. I can't even see if the light, there we go. So, about to get back on the highway here, and we're gonna move on toward our next destination, and then I will pull over 5 minutes before, do my team meeting, and then we'll continue on and see what happens. So that's what's going on right now, and I'll be back to update you soon. All right, guys, 40 minutes into the meeting ended. So I got about 38 miles of driving in, and then I left. I actually stopped at an exit, found a McDonald's, found a special, of course, and got myself an Egg McMuffin, which is normally $3.89 for $1.50. And I was able to eat that while I was in the parking lot doing the meeting. And then when my part was over, I left the parking lot, continued on the meeting, and got on the highway, and there's traffic everywhere. So there looks like there's some construction here. So there's a delay anyway, so I still have a ways to go to my next casino, and I'm completely stopped in traffic right now. So we'll see how long. Looks like it's going to add 13 minutes to the trip, so not terrible. We'll deal with it. And we're going to move on to the next casino, play some blackjack, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. So that traffic took way longer than expected. It was basically 4 lanes of highway merging into 1 lane over about a 5-mile stretch, and there was like a 1/4 mile of road work being done, and just slowed down everything. Cost me about 40 minutes or so, that really hurts the schedule for the day. I did finally make it to the next casino, looked at slots and found nothing, so I'm like, am I wasting my day today, I went on to a blackjack table, low limit blackjack table, stay 17, resplit aces, and sat there, bought in there for 300 and got it up to about 650, almost 700, and then I hit a negative count, and I'm like, I really didn't want to get up yet. I wanted to build it up a little bit more. And then a guy comes to the table. He stops play, and he puts out a voucher that he has for some kind of free bet. So they take the time to do that, and then he stops play for that, and then he's like, "Oh, go ahead." And then I'm like, "Well, I don't know if I want to keep playing because I have a negative count. I got this guy might be jumping in anytime, might not be. I might have to play the rest of the shoe by myself. All this stuff." I ended up continuing on with the shoe, and then like 2 hands later, he buys in for cash. I'm like, I said to the dealer and the pit boss, I said, I don't know who this guy thinks he is, but this is like the 3rd time he's stopped play, and he hasn't played a hand. And I'm just going to move on. So I ended up coloring up and moving on ahead $225. I moved on to another table, another blackjack table, sat down, started playing there, immediately started losing, and went back and forth for a little while with the dealer before finally things got better. I never bought in for any more money, so I did all this with $300, and I ended up winning another 500 on that table. So plus 225 on the first table, plus 500 more on the second table, and we're moving on right now to another casino. Really, not feeling it right now. Hopefully we get some better things happening here, more action going on. It was a very low action session. I made good money, so I really can't complain. So we're going to move on to another casino, and then I think I need to stop and double check the oil in this car, make sure everything is good. So after I stop at this casino, when I finish playing, I'm going to go out to the car, check the oil, make sure it's good, and then we'll move on from there. So that is what is going on right now. Beautiful day. Temperatures shot up to a very, very hot 30 degrees outside, but it's nice. It's partly cloudy, sun peeking through a little bit, and I really can't complain. I have a good life and a good career, and a good job too. Not just my career, but my job is pretty decent as well. And we're moving on. I'll be back. All right, guys, moved on to another place, and as always, looked at slots first, and as always recently at this place, did not find any plays at all, and moved on to play some blackjack. I did see one of my degenerate friends here, and I had a voucher in my hand for like 9 cents, and he said, "How are you doing?" Like, I found the voucher in the machine, right? He said, "How you doing?" I showed him the voucher, and he's like, "Oh, man." He said, "You can't play just junk. You have to play good machines." I'm like, I've been trying to tell this guy this forever, and he doesn't listen to me. And now when he wants to come borrow money from me and I show him a voucher for 9 cents, he thinks I'm out of money, and he blames me, so I can't, because I can't lend him money or something. Anyway, ended up going to the blackjack area, sat down, bought in for 500 right away. Terrible luck. Right away, actually, both the sessions I played, actually at both casinos that I played, I was hitting the side bets almost every hand and wasn't playing them, of course. And they were like, look, you hit it again. This guy would have made so much money. I'm like, yeah, I would have made so much money today, but in the long run, how would it have been? Anyway, I start playing, count goes immediately straight down like a rock, and I'm losing money. And this Asian girl comes to the table, someone I've never seen before. She looks like she's barely 21 years old. Really light-skinned. She's got a cut-down shirt, and she buys in for like $1,000, puts it all out on 2 hands, loses that, puts in another, loses that. She's buying in for $1,000. She's playing like $400 a hand on 2 different hands, $100 on the bonus, and $25 tip on each hand for the dealer. And it's like, how do you expect to make any money when you're getting the worst of everything? But anyway, it was negative, and she was going slow and rebuying, and the dealer was out of $25 chips. She had like 8. So I had some, she had some, and she's tipping with them, and he has to keep changing out the tip money to bigger chips so that he can give her money back and stuff like that, and it was just very annoying. I just got to the point where I got back to even, and I ended up leaving ahead $100. It was still a negative count. It was going super slow. We weren't making any headway at all, and bringing a lot of attention because she's buying in for huge amounts, and she reached the $5,000 limit right away, so they're calling upstairs, and it's negative for me, so I'm not even moving my bet the whole time. So you got one guy that's not moving his bet at all. You got a girl who's changing her bet all the time, up and down, up and down. When she would lose, she'd go down to like $100 a hand if that's all she had left, and then she'd rebuy for another $1,000, and just was not the best place to be. Walked around, looked at some other tables. There was nothing else that was playable. Looked at slots again on my way out, and found nothing else. So I ended up leaving that session ahead $100, and whatever. So right now we're moving on, and I'm going to make one stop first, and then we're going to get some fuel. We're going to double check the oil, and we'll go from there. So that's what's going on right now, and I'll be back to update you real soon. All right, guys, as we continue what feels like a very long trip right now, I did stop a little while ago, and I got some beef jerky from this special place I go to sometimes, and talked to the guy there for a minute. He seemed a little lonely. He said that he only sold $200 in jerky today, and it was really boring and really quiet and all that. So, and then right now I'm just continuing on to the next casino still. It's 34 degrees outside. The sky has cleared up quite a bit. It's almost completely clear skies now, and nice day right now, and we'll see what happens here. But overall, hasn't been a very exciting day, but we've made some money so far, and hopefully it continues. Running a little bit low on time. Let's see how things go after this next stop, and then we'll figure out what to do next from there. So that's what's going on right now. I'll be back. All right, guys, finally got there, and it wasn't even worth it. It wasn't worth it. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna head home tonight, and this weekend we're gonna get this whole car checked out, get an oil change. Who knows how many millions of miles it's been. Let me see here what it says here. Next oil change due at $250,999, and we're at $274,200. Might be due, so we'll go get an oil change tomorrow. Make sure the tires are all aired up properly and everything is looking good, and get ready for next week. And it'll be interesting next week as we're approaching the holidays. They gave us a free day off in December. So I already have like half of December off as it is. So it's a little embarrassing, but I'm going to ask for the extra day, and we'll see what happens. Or maybe I could, well, no, the heck with it. I'm going to just take it. I was going to say maybe I could not take a vacation day and do that instead, but no. I'm going to go ahead and take it on top of And I think I still have like 200 something hours of extra time rolling over for personal days, vacation days, sick days. I think actually personal days you have to use. I think I did. But vacation and sick days, I've got tons of hours rolling over. So that is all excellent. So I park in this parking garage. I go in. I'm tired. All I want to do is make some money. I go in. First person I see is an advantage player. I'm like, wah, wah. Okay. So I sit down next to him and I said, so did you already clean the place out? And he said, there's been nothing here all day. We've been here all day long. Nothing is going on. I'm like, this looks really promising. And so I end up walking around, take a lap, nothing, take another lap. I'm trying to remember the one machine that I played. I played one machine and it didn't pay out. I ended up ahead $5 on that. And then came back around, talked to him again, and then I decided, hey, I'm going to get some kind of a treat, take care of myself, make myself happy. So I go over to the food area, and they have a Starbucks in the casino. And, from listening to me on this podcast now for 3 years, how many Starbucks do you think I've ordered in my life? I'll give you a hint. It's about the same amount as how much I tipped today. Exactly 0. So I've never ordered anything at Starbucks ever because I think it's a big waste of money. So I walk up to the thing there and I said, I don't know how to order this stuff. I said, I want to get like a blended iced coffee, like a slushy type thing. A coffee with like some caramel in there. And he said, okay, I could do that. And I said, what would I call that? Like in the future, if I wanted to order one of these things, what would I say I wanted? And he said, you could just say you wanted a Frappuccino. I said, okay, Frappuccino. So let me just try this again here, because I already took a couple sips of it. Let me see. It is terrible. It is terrible. It is bitter, and you don't really taste the caramel, and it tastes like it's been sitting out all day. You guys pay $7 for this garbage? Are you guys serious? Get yourself a nice coffee grinder at home. Put some beans in the top. Smell that nice aroma. Enjoy it. Take care of yourselves. You buy this garbage from a company that doesn't even care about you, that supports... Don't get me started. Calm down, Joe. All right, I'm calm. Everything's okay. Calm down. Come off the hill here. All right, don't jump. Okay. Jeez. Starbucks. Do you know what the logo even is? Do you know what the full logo looks like? Get out of here, will yas? Come on. Starbucks. Star Schmucks. Get out of here. Anyway, I ended up making $6 at this casino, and I'm actually happy I'm out of there. Relax a little bit, enjoy my drive a little bit. Let's do our segments, shall we? What did you eat today, MW? Of course, that is one of the most important things, and I know you guys are keeping track of what makes me not feel good, so we can figure out what's wrong with me. But this morning, as I was sitting in the parking lot doing my meeting, there was a McDonald's right there, and so I ordered. I got on their app, and of course, this is what I always do. I'll get on their app, and if there's nothing on sale, I'll say goodbye, and I won't order anything. But they had any breakfast sandwich for $1.50. Now, normally I get the sausage McMuffin because I like the McMuffins. They're soft, they're warm, and for an extra $3, you can get an egg on top of that. But today I actually went for an egg McMuffin, and it ended up being the same price. And it was actually pretty good. I give it a jack. I'm getting a little generous in my old age on a scale of 2 through ace. And then this afternoon, I said, let me just check out these apps again, because McDonald's gave me like a 50-cent cheeseburger, but what am I going to do, get one cheeseburger? I'm not paying regular price for everything else. So I was looking at Wendy's, app, and they had a spicy chicken sandwich for $3.99. $3.99. So I decided to go for that. I got that. It was good. But the only thing is, I found a couple pieces of bacon in the wrapper. So I don't know how sanitary these guys are being, throwing bacon around and everything. I'm going to give it a 9 on a scale of 2 through ace. And then I had a frappuccino, like some kind of, I don't know, Gen Z, X, Y, Alpha, whatever person. And I rate that a 3 on a scale of 2 through ace. So when we go somewhere and we hang out one of these days, and we go to Starbucks, don't order whatever the heck I just ordered from this guy. So that's that. Let's talk about, what did you tip today, MW? And there were 3 consequential. I played blackjack 3 times. Sorry, I got a 18-wheeler in front of me with hazardous chemicals on it that's straddling the lane here. Come on, buddy. All right. So I played a little bit of slots, such a tiny bit of slots today. Of course, I didn't tip anything there, but I had 3 okay sessions of blackjack. The first one I won $225 and had that weird guy come to the table and I had a negative 14 or whatever. And I tipped $0 on that one. Now, the second one, though, that one I had some decent variance, and I think I made $500 on that table, and that table I tipped $0. And then the final table was when the Asian lady came to the table, young girl with her shirt all opened up, and like, I don't know, what is she trying to do? Impress the dealer? They're going to give you money? This is the wrong place. You don't come in flashing the dealer and get money. There's other places you can go to flash people and get money, but that's not the right place. But she was losing her ASS, and she was down around 6,000 plus by the time I left. And I was just hanging in there, basically bopping around even the whole time. And I finally ended up pretty tired of her shenanigans and her always wanting to play the side bet, but there was no green chips, and they had to keep on every single hand. They had to get change for the green chips because either the 8 chips were in her hands or in the dealer's hands. And it didn't make things any easier that she would, there's only 8 of them on the table, and she would tip a quarter on each hand and play the side bets with them. And it's like, how are they supposed to pay you out whatever, 20 to 1, 10 to 1, 5 to 1, whatever? And they don't have any green chips, so they're always making change every hand. So I decided to leave ahead 100. And on that table, I definitely tipped $0. So 0, carry the 0, and then plus 0. That's a total of $0 tipped. And I got a drink that tastes like a big 0. And that guy was not my hero that made it. And that's about all that's going on there. The beef jerky is delish. And let's rate the beef jerky. I'll give the beef jerky a jack on a scale of 2 through ace. It's probably the best thing I ate all day. Yeah, right now 34 degrees, starting to get dark outside. I'm going to start heading toward home, I think. And there is a possibility of one more stop. If it happens, I'll let you know. But for now, I'm going to let you go. I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. All right, can I just be non-politically correct for a minute? Now, bear with me for a minute here, all right? So, I had a problem about 2 months ago. You know, we charge like billions of dollars on our cards all the time. And I was using my checking account, and I really shouldn't be doing that. I should be using just a credit card and paying it off every month, getting points and things like that, and it's less risky than using a checking account. But at the time, I was using checking account for everything, and there was a charge at a casino for like $200 or $300 on the account, and I called the bank, and they saw it was fraud, and they fixed it. They changed my card number. Of course, my card was on Amazon, it was on this, it was on that, it was on Netflix. Netflix stopped working. It was on XM radio, that stopped working. Everything started falling apart, right? And then I got my bill from Verizon, and normally my bill is like, we have 5 lines on Verizon, and normally my bill is like $250, unlimited everything, plus TV stuff and all these different channels and things like that. It's a good deal, right? 5G, wideband, whatever, garbage stuff. And so all of a sudden the bill jumps up into the 300s, and then it comes back down. Well, when it jumped up, I thought, I'm sure it's because the card was in there and the number changed. So I went in immediately and changed the number to the new number before the bill was due. And then it was like a week later, actually. I proactively did it. And then like a week later, the bill came out and it was higher. So I thought, okay, well, obviously, maybe I just changed the card number too close to the billing date and it didn't take. I go in, I paid the bill manually. I just called about it. It's been about a couple months now, and I finally had time to call about it. And as it turns out, Verizon is lowering the whatever, if you pay automatically from $10 to $5, which is whatever. Everything is going up, right? I don't like it, but nothing I can do about it. But then also I was charged $34 for a late payment. And so I call Verizon, and first thing I hear on the phone is, "Thank you for calling Verizon." I'm like, oh, man. Now, I don't care what you are, right? But it's very hard for me to understand some dialects, right? I worked for an Indian employer, and I get it. I understood everything they said, but some people are hard to understand. So I immediately thought, this is going to be an awful call. Well, as I was talking to the guy was very articulate, and he was very patient, very nice, and I was wrong. I immediately thought it was going to be a bad call, but he put me on hold a couple times. He said the most he could give me back is 30, even though it was 34, and then he came back and he found a way to make it 34, and he told me that there's a way to lower my bill even more. And normally I don't fall into those traps, so I didn't. I said, you know what, I appreciate it. Is that available online? He said, yeah, you can do it online. So I'll go online and see if I can change my bill around and make it even cheaper. But he was very nice, and I immediately thought, oh man, I'm not going to understand this guy. I'm going through a rural area. It's going to be choppy, all these different things, but I was wrong, and he did a good job. So that's all good. Now, let's talk about American Express. And I may be talking about American Express on Sunday for the next episode. So I have been running a lot of money through my American Express card. I've had it for about 10 days or so, and I've run about $11,500 through the card. And American Express had enough of me, and they cut me off. Now, wait a minute. They said the credit card had no limit, and you could go online and check your buying power. And I checked it as 30 and 35,000, and it said that was fine, but they cut me off. So I called them last night. They said, call us in 24 hours, and we'll let you know. But they didn't like some of the things I was buying. I'm like, whatever. So hopefully it doesn't kill my chances of keeping that card, because I'm trying to get 250,000 points on that card. So hopefully that all works out. But I'll be calling them tonight about that, and hopefully everything is good. Now, I do record all my phone calls. They're recorded automatically, and even though Android changed some things around so it's not possible to do that, I found a way to record it anyway. And I will be recording, obviously, if it's automatic on all my calls, I'll have the recording of the American Express call, and if there's something interesting, I may chop it up a little bit and play it for you. So we'll see about that. Right now, I'm going to continue on my trip. Clear skies, beautiful day, 32 degrees, and that's going to be it for right now, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.